I guess we were looking for pieces which were quite innovative, who had a personal say about the world, a certain vision about the world. Sometimes pieces that could make the bridge between art and technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pieces that had something very unique to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it was sort of like an excavation. We started with this large hill of work, and we just needed to dig down, finding work, trying to, through each round of elimination or sort of selection, we were just sort of really finding the work that resonated with us, almost on a personal basis, and then finding the things that we had sort of common interests in, common responses to, and then from there, really trying to find work that had a very unique voice, finding work that really had something to say. All of the same criteria for picking the Golden Nika, we sort of applied the same criteria to all pieces.
Also, I think it's knowing that Ars Electronica is a great way to show some pieces that couldn't be seen sometime in traditional animation festival. We are quite keen to show pieces where innovative or technologically trying to do something. And we're all coming from different backgrounds, so we're just discussing, and at the end, all the award, the winners make sense, like in their choices. We had some pieces where kind of political statement. Lot of sarcastic and comedic pieces.
Yeah, using irony as a way of telling a very complex story, digging into a very sort of complicated subject matter, and using a little bit of comedy, transcending just the pure technological, not just flashy computer animation anymore, but really using it to tell a very astute story.
Doing a diversion about their first primary technology of one technique and then trying to change it, or with some pieces as well, trying to play around their initial use and function of the technology. So that was kind of playful way to use some of the techniques.
Yeah, I mean, I had so many favorites. I think in the end, I think one of the challenges, at least for me, was there weren't just three that were my favorite. There were so many. It's not,
I must say the Golden Nika was in my pre-selection.
Yeah.
And being a female artist, I feel very proud that she won. So I'm very pleased in general by all the mention and awards. I think we had great. Been very lucky and fortunate to have all this film being selected and submitted.
I think the entire jury was very much on the same page by the end and very happy with the results. So I think we all came out feeling very satisfied. Yeah.
As we mentioned in the jury statement, we think that the gap is very narrow between the Golden Nika and the next two awards of distinction. But nevertheless, just formally, it was the only piece where we all said, okay, this is the best one. So even now we were discussing about is really such a big gap, but we were speaking in unison and saying, no, this without doubt is the first one.
Yeah.
And on the other side, yeah, and this is in terms, we think, of quality and also of concept and storytelling. It's the best piece.
And also sound, no?
Yeah, of course. We were discussing about this, if it's even possible to judge the different works, because they did use so different media. And so, of course, however you want to define it, but the first key question was quality. And then we were trying to somehow judge the piece in its own subcategory, which we defined more or less by looking at the pieces. That we say, okay, this piece belongs more to installation art, this belongs more to sound composition, this belongs more to the field of video, sound installation, and so on.
And performance also.
Yeah, but then we also tried then to judge in the overall quality, so that not maybe because there were only not the best piece of a category could go further, because then we just compared them all together. And it was like we also said, it was in terms of quality, but also innovation, which, because this is a festival, originality. Yeah, these were the main questions.
A lot of sound installations were submitted.
Yes, and I would also say that there is, and we would to encourage future artists, that it was a little bit kind of, we would have liked to have more experimental and more on the bleeding edge pieces, because also the pieces which won are really great pieces, no doubt about this. But I think we totally agreed all together that it could be a little bit more experimental, a little bit more challenging. And there were some pieces which were more experimental and more challenging, but then unfortunately they were in their aesthetic quality, in the perceptive quality, they were not good enough to be selected.
The winner. Yes, the winner. Because it was simple and it has a very nice aesthetic, and it's also Zen, and I would love to see it and stay in the middle of the place and listening and close my eyes and listen to the needles in the water, and then open my eyes and see all the glasses around. That's why I like it.
Yes.
And the technology behind it, it's really simple but impressive how he used the geomagnetic.
My favorite, it's a pity, but I forgot the name.
Underway?
Underway, yeah, Underway was my favorite due to the fact that it's self-containing. There's only one object. And no projection, nothing, everything emits from this one object. If you put it in the room, it's nothing else, and this is why I really, and then what you then get out of it, it's really fabulous. So, but I'm perfectly also with the other piece, it's a great piece.
Yeah, also I could go to the exhibition with my microphone and record a little bit and sample and make a piece with the piece.
Well, it was a process. I mean, we went through all the different categories. We got a sense of what the issues are, what we wanted to honor, and eventually came up with this project as the one most representative of a large collaboration that deals with the environment and is a long-term project. And this is basically what became the most interesting for us for our topic of hybrid arts.
Yeah, I think it has to do a lot also with the interaction between different species, the limits of technical prowess, the very positioning of the human being in its technologically designed and polluted environment, and to think of also trans-species technological capacities in order to clean up humans' mess. So on the one hand, I think there was an ecological concern, there was a technological concern, but to reshift these questions also to kind of post-anthropocentric reasoning, to say that, well, where are we as now as humans, and how do we deal with the necessity of a degree of humility that very much of the technologically based art in the last years have been lacking.
That's right. And moving a little bit away from synthetic biology to actually honoring the way the earth works anyway and working with it and understanding that we're just a small percentage of it.
Not against it.
Exactly. Or trying to invent something new, rather to go back into working with it. Actually not. I mean, I feel like I've always resided in that position. That's probably why I was invited to this category. And to me, it's a place in between. It's in between arts and sciences. It's in between many different categories. And that place is the best place to be because it's not defined. The moment it becomes defined, it's not hybrid anymore. And so we agreed as a group for this, to just think about it as something that we don't necessarily define. It'll define itself with who applied. So even though we tried to represent different disciplines, in the end we surrendered to what came to us because that is hybrid at this moment, and next year it will probably be very different.
The very notion of the hybrid implies that as a biological metaphor you would expect that there would be something like a hybrid vigor, so to say that you would improve something in comparison to what is normally being addressed as a kind of purebred. But after years of cycles of hybridity, of course you come up with also kind of new purebreds such as bioart, a kind of unlucky category in which people are just considering that if you deal with any kind of biological material and you manipulate it, you end up in the kind of new category. So I think what we are looking at is really this kind of in-betweenness, and also we are really moving towards non-targetable objects, moving objects, aesthetic objects, and with this in-betweenness also triggers a kind of reflection how society defines its disciplines. We are living in a totally over-specialized society, and I think one of the main aims of these connections that are being built in the hybrid art category is precisely to bring fields of knowledge, fields of aesthetic expertise together, which normally do not really talk to each other.
Well, again, I mean, the trend would be temporary and keep moving. It's a moving target, and what we received is a lot of works that actually dealt with living matter and a lot of collaboration, a lot of works that deal with a lot of big data, and collaborations between art and science that are actually equal, rather than an artist coming to a scientist asking for something or the other way around. And this became very interesting to us to see where it overlaps in a way that it becomes truly a hybrid, where the artist informs the scientist and vice versa.
It happened in the last years as well. I mean, since the inception of the very category of hybrid art, we could see clear trends of something which is just on the radar of artists. So we had years when it was clearly about data visualization, then there was 2 or 3 years of geolocalization art, then there was 2 years of Twitter art, but we never really picked in these years of the existence of the category these trends literally. And I think what is still around a lot is the occupation with measurement, with data. What do we do with this data? How this data is being gathered? But also there is a kind of trend towards smell, taste, sensory experiences, the biological world, how we match the technological implications with the biological surroundings, our own phenomenology. And I think where maybe a trend has come through when it comes to the choice of the actual awarded pieces is that we look at post-anthropocentric arts, about humankind's questioning of himself as a creator of technology and being also starting to suffer from the very same technologies. So there's a kind of looking towards trans-species relationships, ecologically relevant questions, responsibility that hook up hard, wet, soft technologies all together.
We actually agreed. There was one project that was my favorite that nobody else agreed with me, actually, I think. Or they were all on the sidelines with it. But when we all came together, we actually agreed that there was a thematic there in the sense of location, where this works comes from. So we're talking about Japan and Mexico and Germany, so 3 continents. There's a woman in there, so it's not just 3 white guys, and we thought that was important. Every project was actually a large collaboration, so it didn't feel like an artist genius that was in touch. And when we saw this as the coloring rather than the project itself, everybody was actually okay with it, because it's a larger picture. It's not just about the project. And it's our sense that we're also giving a message, and the message is encouraging other work like that. So we're encouraging work that's large, cross-disciplinary, long-term work, real commitment, and that goes back to the basics, to earth, and doesn't look at data as just numbers, but data that you can taste and just become part of.
Yeah, I don't think that everybody really came with a clear favorite to this competition.
No.
I mean, there's so much. There are 600 artworks in there, and what you want to do if you come to this kind of jury is to be surprised. I mean, I think we are not here to defend a specific aesthetic or a specific artwork. I mean, the main objective is to be surprised and to learn something from this and to pick these tendencies which say something about our time. Right. But I think the actual choice that was made represented in a very complex and distributed way the arguments that have been picked through the discussion of all the artworks together, and it condensed in a certain way a lot of the concerns that have been discussed also when approaching the other artworks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that in the jury we finished the jury process 5 minutes before the deliberation. That means that we were really strikingly embedded in the process until the last minute to find really what this means and how it works as a sign for the next years. That's and right. What it means to other artists who want to submit to this category.
Because in a way, I think that the hybrid category of all is the one that's evolving, and it's really putting out a message. So we became more about the message that's being put out and what that responsibility is, and it's all worked out exactly like it's supposed to, right?
Yeah, I think in the last round, I mean, we had...
we're a bit tired.
We had a huge density of artworks which were very close to getting a distinction, the Golden Ica. They are very closely together, but they were dealing with different concerns. So it could have been the other way around if we would just have focused less on ecological concerns and maybe looking more at data gathering also on or social concerns. But throughout the whole competition, it seemed to us that this questioning of what human technology as such means to, was probably giving the favor to Gilberto Esparza's pieces, because it was really embedding the actual consequences and possible solutions to what we do to our environment.
I think our winning project in the next idea deals with different issues that can change, and one is actually the way they work together. It's more a strategy of how you innovate today, because they are collaborative. It's 5 women with different backgrounds, and they have used their different professional knowledge on a common projects, and also worked with the means they had, not very kind of simple known technologies, and just put them together in clever ways. And this means that it can be done by a lot of people. It's kind of taking the high tech out to the people, which is in itself as a model very interesting.
Yeah, me too. So, and the theme or the and theme is about the water pollution, water waste. But they are, of course, they have a lot of background, like science and engineering, or they want to try to change the water waste problem into the more aesthetic way, and it's changing the people's notion or the concept, or because the like waste of pollution into the beautiful way.
Yes.
Change it. This value changing, or it's really important and interesting for me.
Yeah. So they take the waste or the pollution from the soil production, and via some bacteria and different techniques, they produce a tissue that can be used for different products as a kind of leather fabric. And in this project, they produce some electricity, they produce material, and they want to give this knowledge to women, especially in different local areas, so they will be able to do this themselves, and maybe make an extra income by producing materials out of this waste.
Of course, we are discussing, talking, sharing our own opinions inside our jury members. This process is really important, and also really helpful to understand each entries.
Some of them we do some research, and we sit online and search. Is this? I mean, of course, there are some entries you can understand immediately because they're very clear and easy and not very
heavy, but some that are very clever engineering or something we have to really look into. Is this possible? And we have to research or even maybe call somebody else in. So because the category is so broad, and we get entries from art pieces, installation performances, to engineering, and to social changing of social culture, you can say, so the habits. It's very different. So of course we can't know it all.
Yes.
But
most important things about the jury process is, of course, a lot of information there. You understand what they are doing, but a most important thing, what kind of questions or what kind of aim they have inside their project or the
what is the question they want to ask, and why is this important?
Yes.
I think a lot of the ideas. We had a discussion which was really interesting about good ideas and next ideas.
Yeah.
We had a lot of entries that were really good, clever ideas for products, maybe mainly products that we actually want to be produced. We want the world to have it because it's a really good idea. But often it was not, we felt it was maybe not the next idea. In terms of they were merely producing a design or an engineering object, but we were trying to look for ideas that opened possibilities or fields in new ways, or asked different questions to common problems.
Of course, we saw the almost completed project. Some project. Of course, it's a good, of course, but we are interested in the one project has many aspects or many possibilities to change our own life.
Yeah.
Like Golden Nika, or we selected the soy project. They have a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
The basic is try to change our customs or living customs, or the way to thinking about pollution or this environment issues or something. But they have their own possibilities inside. So it's really interesting for our next ideas. During this year's jury process, finally we didn't select it, but some project is about the medical things or disease, like of course for disabilities or something. So the encouraging the people's life itself, or body or the mentally problem. I'm really interested in some project we saw in the jury process using the recent like a mobile phone application or something.
Yeah.
And try to ease or try to encourage the people to using technologies. But finally we didn't select it. Because something is missing to using the technology, and it's a really tough question. Difficult themes, but I want to try to think more about this kind of technology and human, technology and body, technology or disease or medical things.
But we had a feeling that there were a lot of entries this year, and maybe especially compared to last year, where I was in the jury as well, that it seemed that people take action. They see a problem in the world or some injustice, or and they actually take action. They see, what can I do here? And we had some really strong and also moving entries where people had seen or encountered some specific problem, and they okay, how can I solve this? And there was a lot of in that way there was a lot of inspiring hope in the entries this year, which was really nice. I think it was kind of uplifting. That I mean, if you don't have the hope that you can actually change the world for a better, there's no reason to put all this effort into to making the projects. And it seems that people actually believe that they can do make a difference, and that's very inspiring, uplifting. And of course, it's. I think I'm always attracted to these ideas that try to look at a problem and has a really interesting way of solving it, and maybe going out of the normal answering way, but has a huge impact on a lot of people. And of course, maybe especially for those who cannot maybe do it themselves. You can always refine products for the rich or middle class, or make life easier via smart cities in one or the other way. But really trying to change fundamental problems for the African farmers who cannot store their products. When they take the crops off the ground, because of the heat, they rot very fast, and this means that they can't bring in. They have to sell them for whatever price is up that day. Whether if they can store it for a few days, they can find a better price, or they can, of course, use it for a longer period. And then instead of inventing a refrigerator that keeps them cool, they try to go into how come the vegetable doesn't rot on the ground when it's growing, and try to mimicry this its own process. And this, for me, it's very interesting.
Ich würde sagen, warum soll man sie nicht ernst nehmen? Das sind Produkte von Kindern und Jugendlichen, die sich sozusagen, die jetzt noch nicht professionell ausgebildet sind, sogar manchmal sind sie sogar schon professionell relativ gut ausgebildet, aber auf jeden Fall haben die wahnsinnig viel zu sagen, auch in dieser Altersgruppe, vielleicht sogar oft direkter und unmittelbarer als Erwachsene. Und zwar, wenn man sich die Themen anschaut, die jetzt gekommen sind, da sieht man ganz deutlich, wie die Kinder eigentlich die Welt, in der sie leben, reflektieren und wie sie auch manche Dinge belasten oder wie sie manche Dinge verändern möchten.
Also ich habe da kaum mehr was hinzuzufügen. Ich finde die Fragestellung gar nicht so. Also ich muss eigentlich die Fragestellung hinterfragen, nicht? Weil ich habe mir jetzt gerade auch bei der Präsentation gedacht, eigentlich ist das die wichtigste Kategorie. Und zwar genau aus dem Grund, nicht nur weil die Jugend die Zukunft ist, sondern weil sie, wenn sie noch nicht verdorben ist, eigentlich am direktesten das ausspricht, wo die Probleme auch sind in unserer Gesellschaft. Und das haben wir auch in den Einreichungen eindeutig gesehen. Kriterien sind, glaube ich, relativ simpel. Ist man berührt, ist man angesprochen, intellektuell, emotional von dem, was einem präsentiert wird. Und ich kann nur sagen, ich war total überrascht, sowohl von den unter 10-jährigen Kindern bis zu den fast schon erwachsenen Jugendlichen oder erwachsenen jungen Damen und Herren, was da an Qualität da ist. Also der Gewinner hat mich wirklich umgehauen. Ich habe lange in der Animationsklasse auf der Angewandten einen kleinen Lehrauftrag gehabt, wirklich 9 Jahre lang. Und dieser Film hätte dort mit Diplom gemacht, mit Auszeichnung.
Zu den Kriterien möchte ich auch noch sagen, dass eben die Inhalte, das hast du schon angesprochen, aber eben auch das Formale, dass die wirklich zum Teil formal so kreative Bilder oder Wege wählen, die wirklich überraschend sind auch. Also uns hat einfach wirklich beides beeindruckt, diese inhaltliche Präsenz vieler Arbeiten und diese inhaltliche Dichte, aber auch die formale Umsetzung, die originell und oft auch wirklich also beeindruckend sozusagen von der künstlerischen Qualität her.
Es ist wahnsinnig viel Angst, es ist wahnsinniger Druck, Erwartungsdruck, Leistungsdruck, entsprechen müssen, damit beschäftigen sie sich. Das ist auch das Zweite, also es wird aber nicht mehr gereiht, aber eines der Projekte, das von uns prämiert wurde, ist bei jungen Frauen. Das ist ganz deutlich sichtbar, was hier die Gesellschaft für einen Druck ausübt auf die Jugend. Einerseits, andererseits, von einer ganz anderen Seite zu kommen, ist, worüber sie sich Gedanken macht, wie sie spielerisch Dinge erfinden, die sehr, sehr für die Gesellschaft beitragen, wie sie sich kritisch mit Umweltproblematik beschäftigen und das ernst nehmen und da mit viel Energie und Leidenschaft uns einen Spiegel vorhalten.
Das war für mich auch eines der beeindruckendsten Dinge, wie viele Projekte sich auf Umweltthemen im weitesten Sinn bezogen haben. Also angefangen von alternativen Energien, aber auch also was machen wir mit unserer Umwelt, wie zerstören wir sie, also vor allem auch bei den kleineren Kindern, da war ja auch bei den U10 war das auch das Thema. Also wirklich besonders viele Projekte, die sich mit diesem Thema auseinandersetzen. Und also mir hat das auch in einer gewissen Weise Mut gemacht, weil es ist natürlich viel Angst, aber auf der anderen Seite auch viel so, wir wollen was dagegen tun und auch mit unseren Beiträgen eigentlich aufrütteln oder aufmerksam machen auf diese Dinge. Ja, am besten hat uns natürlich die preisgekrönte Arbeit mit der Goldenen Mika gefallen. Ja. Diese arbeiten seit Between. Ja, genau. Die hat uns natürlich am besten gefallen, klar.
Ja, weil sie, ich habe es davor schon anklingen lassen, unfassbar poetisch dicht ist. Also das ist ein Film, ich habe mir in der Vorrunde schon zu Hause im Internet gesehen. Da hat er mich schon umgehauen. Ich könnte jetzt lange über den Film sprechen, wie toll der gemacht ist. Da muss man auch sagen, jetzt zu Ihrer ersten Frage zurückkommen, also das könnte auch ein 30-Jähriger oder eine 30-jährige Frau gemacht haben, die schon ganz große Lebenserfahrung auch hat. Ja? Also wie hier poetisch gespielt wird in allen Richtungen, wie es verdichtet wird, wie es erzählt wird, wie der Titel ernst genommen wird, wie man eben inside schaut, weil das ist das, was der Film zum Beispiel macht, dass er eigentlich das Ziel hat, dass er das Innere sichtbar macht einer Person, eines Charakters, und das ist ganz großartig gelungen in 3 Minuten.
Ja, Und auch diese immer wieder sozusagen Raum zu lassen für die eigenen Interpretationen. Also der ist wirklich ein wirklich schon sehr perfektes Produkt. Und, oder Produkt ist eigentlich ein falsches Wort.
Kunstwerk.
Ein Werk.
Ja.
Und weil wir auch vorher geredet haben, was waren unsere Kriterien da, bei dem ist einfach die künstlerische Qualität wirklich bestechend.